Hello, and as always, I thank you for coming to my channel. I'm Morris Mann, your host, and my co-host is
Joseph Spencer.
And today we're going to do a pretty unique topic, but before I do that, I want to dismiss a myth. And I'm sure as a black man, you've heard this at least once in your life. Just about everybody black has heard this. And normally you hear it in high school or grammar school. You're looking at somebody with fairly nice hair and they give you this statement. Well, my great 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 granddaddy was Cherokee. Now, I've been hearing that for the longest. And someone actually just told me that less than 2 days ago. So I just had to do a little research because I don't recall in history at any point in time Cherokee Indians hooking up with black people and making babies. And it's always the same story. It's never great 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 grandmother. It's always granddaddy. And it's always Cherokee Indians. It's never Navajo. It's never Apache. So I decided to do a little research to determine if this could be even possibly true. And what I've come up with is this. Now it says great 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 granddaddy. So we say between 150 years, 175 years ago that this is supposed to be taking place. Now, in 1830, I tracked the Cherokee Indians. They were actually around the Oklahoma area. They were there because they were forced out of their original area due to enemies and the federal government. So let's just add another 30 years to that, make it 1860. Now, here's the problem with that, even with adding another 30 years, that they couldn't have been hooking up with black folks, because guess what? We were still in slavery to 1862. So when was their opportunity? Well, actually 62. My Emancipation Proclamation.
Okay.
Yeah, I did my research. I'm not guessing. I did my research. September 22nd, 1862 to be exact,
Okay.
that Lincoln freed us. So when was there time for Indians to be hooking up with black folks and making babies? So here is the reason why, and it's very disturbing why that story has been passed on to the generations. We have been conditioned as black people to believe that being just black ain't good enough. We got to be something added to us. If a Indian Native American were to say, or you'll never hear this out of a Native American say, I got part black in me. You're not going to say that because it would be like a demotional insult, you know. So, and it's an insult to us that we have to lump other people in, you know, to say that we have more value now. So please, black people, stop passing that story down that we got some Cherokee, 100% Cherokee in our ancestry tree, you know, great, great, great granddaddy, because most likely your great, great, great granddaddy was a proud black man. And on that note, I'm going to turn it over to Joe. What do you think?
If you are 50 or 60% Cherokee Indian or quarter breed, you should go to the government because you can get a lot of benefits, but you would have to move to the reservation. And our people have an identity crisis there.
Yeah, and we've had help. I mean, there were other races that kind of jammed this nonsense into our psyche,
Yeah.
and we keep running with it because it's just really sad that, you know, these stories are circulating and they're not true. Because I did a little research on Indians because trust me, I'm not an expert on Native Americans, but what I've noticed, you know, 200 years ago and even up to now, they are very private people. They basically kind of keep to themselves. They're not outside of their race having relationships with other people outside their race. Now, there are some, but that's very few. So that story just don't jive. It doesn't make any sense. And now we're at the age of the information age where you can do your research and find accurate information and facts as opposed to granddaddy passed this story down because his granddaddy passed it down, and somewhere along the line, somebody came up with these ridiculous stories, and that's what they are. They're ridiculous. You are black. Be proud that you're black. You know, some of us have wavy hair. Not all of us have coarse hair. Not all white people are blue eyes. They got brown eyes. They got green eyes. So be proud of your heritage and keep passing on these stories that are not true because that's absolutely false. Okay? So on that note, we're going to get started with our show at hand. Okay, now since we got that cleared away, and hopefully everybody understands that that was just some stuff that was passed down by uninformed people, and it's not true. There hasn't been a time in history that a whole bunch of Indians hooked up with black people and made babies. Okay, so
There are a few stories about, well,
I'm not saying it never happened. I'm just saying that it's extremely rare and
They
it's
think
not
it
as
was,
common.
they became some kind of utopia of race.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But at one time, everybody owned black people, including Indians.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You
But
know?
let's move forward and get to because we can get wrapped up in this whole topic for the remaining of the show. And I see my pedestrian assistant looking scared, kind of looking leery over this. So we're moving it along. Thank you. So today's topic is this. And before I say that, we're not picking on anybody. This show is not to bash anybody. It's to actually educate. We love our people. We love people, period. And if we can share some information that's helpful to you, that's what we're here to do. So today's topic is this. Black women, why aren't you respecting yourself? Now, out of fairness, we're going to do a show on black young men, so it ain't that we picking on black women. But I've noticed, and I'm sure Joe can attest because he's a little older than me, how things have changed as far as respect. Because when my mother raised her daughters, she said this to them, my sisters, and she basically said it to all of us, but mainly the girls. You got to respect yourself before anyone else respects you. If you don't respect you, why do you expect or how do you expect anyone to respect you? Now, I see this disturbing trend because I have a Facebook page. It's mainly to promote my music and my short films. And I got some single friends and they tell me about these sites. And I went on a site called MySpace, Tag, Black Planet, and just to name a few, I think it might have been one or two others. And I downloaded these pictures that were just unbelievable. It's like, wow, where did this come from? And when did black women start behaving this badly? Now, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna put some of these pictures up on the top. And I haven't shown Joe these pictures, so his reaction will be a honest, unscripted reaction. This is not scripted or anything. It's gonna be basically what he feels or thinks. And let me open up the folder here. And the first one is, I call it Sir Boobs a lot. And this woman is literally like squeezing her chest to pop out her boobs. I mean, the average non-decent guy will look at that and be all over her. Because here's the problem with this kind of picture. You draw the kind of man in your life that you don't need in your life. Good men follow good women. They don't chase after women that's trying to show everybody in the world they boobs. What do you think of that picture, Joe?
Well, the picture is indicative to white porn magazines.
Yeah.
At one time, black women wasn't sold. They had no sexual commodity.
Mm-hmm.
And the media we have now with the music and the films now have made black women a sexual commodity.
Mm-hmm.
And showing young black women that you can make profit with your body and position and respect with your body, it's been picked up all over the place.
Yeah, and that's just picture number one. And let me find picture number two because I put them in a number sequence. Number two, which is this one. And this woman is married. I mean, she clearly states on her site that she's married. Now, wouldn't you say, and it doesn't take a genius to come to this conclusion, that she's trying to be enticing to men?
Yeah, she's trying to be enticing her.
Why she has a husband, which is really disrespectful to the marriage.
Her husband's probably on it too. If she's online and she has a husband, they probably doing soft porno this is what these people are doing.
Well, I think that this is an individual effort. I don't even think that her husband realized this. I mean, yeah, there's some people that try to capitalize off their significant other, but I think this is somebody that went solo.
It could be just complete vanity.
Yeah, and that's what I believe it is. There's some people that just don't want to give up that accolades of people always making these comments to them. Because once you get married, you tone it down. Men and women, they tone it down. Women don't behave like this when they get married, and men don't behave like whatever when they get married. Now, that's picture number two. Let's go to picture number three. This is another married woman. Now, my question with this picture is, who was the second person that took the picture?
Husband.
No, I don't think so. I don't think too many men are trying to show their women off in that manner. I mean, black men are very territorial when it comes to their women. We don't play that.
We both of us from a different generation. If these people are in their mid-20s and early 30s, they both could be her husband could be doing
I seriously doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Black men, you look at their women, they want to punch you in the face, let alone you taking pictures of your naked wife and posting on the internet. I've known some women that do this. they go call their girlfriend and say, come over and take some pictures because I want to post them. So I'm almost quite sure that whoever's behind that camera is her girlfriend, not her husband. Black men don't roll like that. And if they do, something wrong with you.
Yeah,
But-
they've been brought up a different kind of way. We've been. You have your. They're not even attractive.
But here's picture number 4. I call it simply panties and bra. You know, you're showing your private or your underwear on the internet. You know, that's number 4. Let's go to number 5. Now here's this new sensation. Or I'm like, what is this about women squatting? I'm like, they're about to take a bowel movement away, and then I realize it's drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hot.
Right,
Yeah, you know,
yeah.
and men are going to the strip tease. Some
Yeah.
women go to strip tease.
Yeah, yeah.
This is supposed to be appealing. This is supposed to be appealing. To me, it's just vulgar.
It's vulgar.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with being adult and doing adult things behind
Yeah.
closed doors with another consenting adult. But the issue I have with this is,
she looks like she's getting ready to alleviate herself.
right, everybody is just posting these for everybody to see.
Yeah.
Now that's number 5, and let me see where's number 6 at. Number 6 is another drop it like it's hot. And she made sure that she pulled up her top a little bit so you can see her thong.
Yeah.
You know, you can see the little thong because she didn't want to go to the trouble of getting that little floss thing up her crack and not nobody noticed that she was wearing one. So
Right.
she made sure that she
And-
pulled
and
up the top.
As you notice, man, this woman is not attractive at all.
Well, just the pose makes, to me, even more unattractive. Now,
Right.
if she had a nice dress on and standing up, you know, not a bad looking woman, but that makes you look ugly and very vulgar to me.
This is to tell men what these women have on their mind sexually.
Well, let me just say this, and I'm going to try to make
And
it
you
quick.
see she's selling her car too. She
Yeah,
proud of her
right.
car.
She driving. Yeah. I'm gonna just say this. Whenever I see anything like this, it just clearly tells me this: their parents failed them, plain and simple. You know, the majority of the topics that we touch on are the foundation of all of them is the lack of foundation or the proper raising of your child. You know, somebody failed her along the way, and she has no respect for herself. Because when you respect yourself, whether you're a man or woman, you carry yourself in a manner where you are
With
respectable.
your eyes only.
Yeah, you know, it's right. At some point in time, behind closed doors, adults do what adults do. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But
And she's doing big time advertisement because
Oh, yeah.
she's got a license plate.
oh yeah,
Unless it's somebody else.
and you're right. I never even noticed that.
Yeah,
Some
she-
crazy dude that say I gotta
Yeah,
have this
go
booty
down to the DMA,
could go in and punch
DMV.
up right and go fan you and sit in front of your
Yeah,
house.
she-
It's really stupid. That's a good observation.
Yeah,
I didn't even
man.
notice that. Okay, number 7. Yeah, number 7. Where are you? Okay. I call this one simply ass out. Just ass out, you know.
How old is she?
She's probably about late 30s. And the question I have is, don't these people have jobs? I mean, your boss sees this and you're going to get fired. Your family sees this and label you a slut. So it's just amazing.
These women can't get fired anymore because of
Yeah, they can get fired.
You think so?
Yes, sir, they can get fired. I mean, you represent, especially the kind of job you have, depending on if you
yeah, I
frying
understand
chicken in the
that.
neighborhood, yeah, you can go naked. But when you have a corporate job or a professional job, you represent your company even after you clock out. You know, it's not just like with policemen and firemen anymore, where they have to have a certain standard period outside of, of clocking out. It's the same thing now with just about everybody with these corporate jobs. And that's why a lot of idiots are getting fired off Facebook from the Facebook's comment. It's just freedom of speech and I can say what I want to. Yeah, and you'll be looking for another job next week. You know, be smart and not be stupid. What's more important, you feeding your family and taking care of your lifestyle, or you ranting and raving on a site that no one cares why you ranting because they don't know you anyway. So.
These women aren't that particularly attractive. Now she's kind of cute. She's got a
Yeah, I mean, she has a nice figure. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, but the way that she's presenting herself would look, you know, it's very distasteful in a decent guy's mind or a decent guy's eyes.
Some of the men said, "Joe," I said, "No, I don't watch that. You know, I don't look at that." Well, you see, I love women, but when you get a woman on a photograph or whatever, look at them on your phone, you can't touch them, you can't smell them, you can't think. It's just a picture.
Yeah, okay. Here's another one. I guess this is this is 8. This is another drop it like it's hot.
Yeah.
And she made sure that she displayed her thong. Now that's the worstest looking thong I've ever seen. It looks like a string attached to a Kotex. That's what it looks like
That's
to
what
me.
it look like. It does.
It looks awful, you know, so
So you know, I've really never been around women with thongs. I've been looking at them ever since the early '70s, some of the women on the beaches throughout the country and out the country, they've been around for some. Mostly white girls was wearing them 30, 40
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah.
And I always figured they were nasty.
And there's a
because they-
proper time and place for that. I mean, me personally, this is just what I think. It's to entice your husband or your boyfriend when he get
this
home
is
from work.
entice the world.
Right, but I think that's where it's supposed to start, and that's where it was. I don't know who decided it's a good idea to take it to work. Who wants to have a string up their ass for
All day
8
long.
hours?
Right.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it's-
I get irritated when I have my button up here tightened at work all day long. So I can't imagine having to string up my ass for 8 hours. But you know,
I never thought about it. Maybe it's some kind of a sexual turn on.
it's supposed to be, but it's
didn't
just
know
not the proper place for it. There's a proper place for
So
everything.
you mean women with thongs on are walking around not to be vote?
They go to work. Yeah, they go to work in 'em.
I know that a woman when her vaginal area get wet, that means she's hot.
Yeah.
You know, like a man's erection. That's their erection. So if they got on thongs, they walking around giving off these body fluids all day
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, it's quite very unhygienic, I believe.
So
Okay.
it's actually a form of masturbation.
Yes, some of them look at it that way. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is, that was number 8, number 9. Now you look at this picture and you say to yourself, what is she implying? And again, somebody came over and took a picture of her per her request and posted this nonsense. You know, it's like, I mean, the picture says it all. I mean, I don't even have to try to give it an analysis of this picture, because when you look at it, you already kind of come to your own conclusion. And it's sad. I mean, first of all, the floor is dirty. She should have swept the floor.
She should have swept the floor, and she's not attractive.
Yeah.
She's just a female.
But even if you are an unattractive woman, you shouldn't have to stoop this low to get attention from guys that you shouldn't have around in your life in the first place.
This is what the books and the movies tell these women.
Well,
That you got to be sexually desired. There are certain things you do in bed with men for a man to want you. And,
Well-
and these young boys, I talk to young boys that tell me there aren't any virgins.
yeah. Well, I agree. But, you know, regardless of how vulgar TV and magazines get, when you do a good job with your kids, it's like that is not going to totally sway them over to go raunchy. I mean, it just doesn't. I mean, there are a lot of young black women out there that have been raised from good stock, and they don't carry on like this.
Well, hey, I can disagree with that, because a lot of young people want to get away from their family and
Well,
their family's values.
Yep.
And sex is always the way to do it.
And again, if it falls back on not having your family structure in place. And there are some people, men and women, that have it in place, and regardless of how the world turns, they're not swayed from that. I'm a good example of that, and I'm sure you are too. You didn't jump on the bandwagon
You
because
not
these
jump
other
on
people did it.
bandwagon. But you see, it also got something to do with your spirit, the strength of your spirit.
Right, and the good raising of being raised well. And I mean, I swear on that. I mean, everything to me stems from that. You know, if you got this, nothing else can rock you.
Man, I've seen white people, black people, Mexican people. I've been in their homes. Their family's been a pillar of salt in church. But my little friends, they do anything for a kick, any sexual thing, any stealing. But they were my friends, and down through the years, I learned to cut them loose because they were costing me too much time.
Right.
You know, and old saying, birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah, exactly.
So I love you, but I can't be with you.
Right, because you're not a part of that.
I'm not a part of that.
And a smart individual detach himself from that, because like we said in the gun control thing,
Yeah.
successful people breed successful people. Successful people hang around successful people. Losers hang around losers.
Yeah.
I mean, just plain and simple. So it's like, where do you fall? Okay, so that's number 9. Let's move on to, okay, we did that one. And then the last one, which is to me very disturbing. What is that about?
Guns and sex.
I'm like saying to myself,
The gun represents a penis.
I'm saying to
It's in
myself,
a woman's hands.
right, let me say this. I'm saying to myself, unless she's advertising or auditioning for a James Bond next flick, why does she have a gun? You know, guns are not sexy. In the proper hands, the proper situation, they are what they are.
And it's a real 9mm.
Yeah, it's a real gun, right? It's not no toy. I mean, I know a great deal about firearms, and so do you, and this is a real gun. So this means that this woman's got a gun in her home, and she's taking it out posing with it. Okay, I hope that this has been enlightening, and we're going to do perhaps we're going to do number 2 on the men.
She's not no kid.
Yeah.
She's got to be in her
Yeah, she's in her 40s. But as always, I thank you for viewing my channel. Tell it like it is. I'm your host, Morris Man, and my co-host is.
Joseph Spencer.
Till next time, keep thinking.